Good evening. On this final day of the year, we begin with the deaths of two significant and very different figures who left their marks in very different ways. First, Benedict XVI, the Pope Emeritus. He died this morning at a Vatican City monastery. In St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Francis remembered his predecessor as noble and kind. Laura Barrón-López reports Benedict's papacy was marked by a conservative defense of church doctrine and struggles over dealing with the clergy sex abuse scandal.
When Pope Benedict XVI stepped down in 2013, he made history, becoming the first pontiff to do so in 600 years. Benedict told a stunned world he did it for the good of the church. He cited declining health, and after closing the door on his nearly 8 years at the helm, he largely disappeared from public life. He was born Joseph Ratzinger in 1927 in southeast Germany. Ordained a priest in 1951, he quickly earned a reputation as an intellectual and a theologian teaching at German universities. He gained notice as an expert advisor during Vatican II, which ushered in major church reforms, and for his prolific writing. In 1977, Pope Paul VI appointed Ratzinger Archbishop of Munich and subsequently made him a cardinal. A few years later, Pope John Paul II appointed him head of the Vatican Office for Church Doctrine, where he served for almost 25 years. When Pope John Paul II died in 2005, Ratzinger was elected his successor, taking the name Benedict XVI.
My true plan to govern is not to do my own will, not to pursue my own ideas, but to listen, together with the whole Church, to the word and the will of the Lord.
Father Thomas Rees is senior analyst at Religion News Service.
Pope Benedict was really a Rorschach test for people in the church. Progressives saw him as very controlling, as limiting theological discussion and debate. Conservatives loved him because he was firm in his teaching and imposed that on what they considered dissident theologians.
Benedict reinforced the church's stance against birth control, and that neither married men or women could be ordained as priests. But much of his papacy was marked by the ongoing, unresolved clergy sex abuse scandal. He often spoke about it during his visits abroad, including during Mass on a trip to Washington, D.C. in 2008.
I acknowledge the pain which the Church in America has experienced as a result of the sexual abuse of minors. No words of mine could describe the pain and harm inflicted by such abuse.
Benedict defrocked hundreds of priests for sexual abuse while in office, a reversal of more lax policies under John Paul II. Many after new revelations in 2010 of abuse cases worldwide.
He does indeed seem to have laicized many priests, but not nearly enough.
Ann Barrett-Doyle is co-director of bishopaccountability.org, a site that tracks abuse in the church.
It is a fact that when Pope Benedict left the papacy, he left in place hundreds, if not thousands, of complicit bishops. He left, due to his choice to not make zero tolerance a universal reality, he left thousands, if not tens of thousands, of abusive priests in ministry.
In early 2022, an independent report commissioned by the Munich Archdiocese found that then Archbishop Ratzinger failed to take any action in 4 instances of alleged sexual abuse during his tenure. In a letter, Benedict acknowledged the abuses and apologized, but never admitted wrongdoing.
I think victims realize that though Pope Benedict said the right words, he absolutely failed to follow up with steps that he was perfectly capable of taking if he was really determined to end the child molestation by priests.
In his final years, Benedict seldom appeared in public. In August, he and Pope Francis met with newly appointed cardinals at the Vatican. Pope Benedict XVI was 95 years old. For PBS News Weekend, I'm Laura Barrón-López.